hard-hitting questions. Move over, Cronkite. Step aside, Cooper. There's a new anchor in town, and he brought his player's card. Welcome to All In with the Mayor.
All right, guys. Mayor here. Welcome to another. Well, this is an exciting episode because it's our first time ever in the beautiful Peppermill podcast studio that they built especially for the Mayor. Welcome to All In with the Mayor. Today, our second episode, we got none other than Matt Booth here from Light and Wonder. Welcome.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it.
Now, I tell you, met you 3 months ago, 2 months. How long ago was that? El Cortez, Las Vegas.
February.
February. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Good Lord, Vika, we got to hurry up, man. It's been a long time. So, our channel, Casino Carisa, used to be called Jackpot Slot Spot. Before that, Jackpot G Spot. It's the last time we're changing our name, I swear, unless we do it again. But we were down there for an influencer event, and your game, we had a tournament on it with all the influencers called Double Down Madness. What a great game. It's a new take on blackjack. Tell us about that game a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So Double Down Madness is a blackjack variant. It has a push 22 element, which is based on the dealer's hand. If the dealer totals a total of 22 in their hand, all the base bets result in a push, and any side bet will get paid out according to whatever the pay table is. There's no splitting and no surrendering. So that's kind of like the catch to the game. But what makes Double Down Madness unique from the traditional game is that the players, they start with one card, and they have the ability to hit and double down as many times as they choose to. So just to make numbers easy, if you start with a $25 bet and you start with a 2 and the dealer is showing a 6, you can choose to double down on your one card. Now let's say you draw an 8, so you have a total of 10. You can match up to that total amount that's already in play. So if you have a total of 50 out on play, you can bet $50 and then draw another card. Let's say, as another example, let's say the dealer's showing a 6. You have a let me rephrase that. Let's say the dealer's showing an 8, and you have a face card. You choose to double down, and you draw a 3. So you have a total of 13. Now you have the ability to hit after doubling down, which is something unique from traditional blackjack.
Very unique.
So in other words, what Double Down Madness offers to the player is that you have more control with each card you receive. And the way that the house gets their edge back is that push 22 element.
Now, I'll tell you, the push 22 screwed me over big time. So I'm in a tournament. We had all of us sitting around there. It's myself, the On Tilt boys, a couple of the people in there. I think Bomba was in there, some other people. But it was On Tilt was the chip leader. I was right behind him. And he wasn't quite all in. I had, I think, 5 cards out there. I doubled down on each one of them, and I had my whole stack in there. If I would have won that, I would have won the whole thing. I would have won $10,000, but it was a 22 push. I'm like, no. I might have said a different word than no, but I ended up getting $5,000 instead of 10. I was super happy anyway, but such a great game because it just throws all those different variants in there. You can win huge on it, and just had a blast. So I've been telling everybody about it because Double Down Madness was so much fun, and I played it a few times when I can get on the table, because when I'm at the El Cortez, or El Cortez, when you say the El Cortez, you're saying the Cortez. So when I'm at El Cortez, you can't get on the table. It's packed. So you've created a really cool game.
Thank you. Yeah, and there's a lot of work that goes into creating this game. It was a very long process, and a shout out to my team. You have a lot of components that it goes into this. You got to deal with compliance. You got to do field trials. You got legal, marketing. This between everybody that was involved in this project. It was probably about 12 to 15 different people. So, a huge shout out to my team and, Light and Wonder for sponsoring that, because this game, there's a lot of roadblocks that took to get to the finish line. And, when designing a game, the concept that came to me was I used to be a table games dealer,
Okay.
originally from Iowa. And when I started doing that, like, you start to pick up cues throughout the time. Players, they say certain things. Like, there's different jargon that's incorporated with it. So you kind of learn a lot of stuff that the market's speaking. And so when I got into this position now, I'm a table games designer with Light and Wonder. When I got into this position, I was putting all of those different elements into my process of designing the game. And one element that really stuck out the most was a player was dealt a blackjack, and I went to go pay it, and he asked me, he's like, "Can I double that?" And I said, "Sure, you can. I mean, it is technically an 11."
If you're an absolute whack job.
Hey, I know a lot of people who do it.
You are gambling, so I guess you can do whatever you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But holy cow. Let's go back to the first time I ever played in Dubuque, Iowa.
Okay.
So I was born and raised in Northwest Illinois. My first time ever in a casino was in Dubuque, Iowa on a boat, because everything used to be on a boat back there, right?
Yep.
So I'm old. So I remember I was up there playing blackjack. I was super excited, 21 years old, and I had a couple of tens come out, and then maybe a pair of queens or something like that. I said, turned to the guy next to me, I said, "Hey, should I split these?" He goes, "Son, if you do, I'm going to kick your ass." I'm like, "I'm going to stay." So it's a learning experience. But did the guy double down on the blackjack?
Yeah, so I told him, I said, "Hey, I mean, technically you can, because, an ace and a face, ace is 1 or 11, right?" So he was treating it like an 11.
Right.
And so he doubled it and won, okay? And, I paid him, and I just asked that question of, like, why'd you do that? I'm just curious. You had a winning hand. Why did you do that? And his comment to that was, I get paid more. And that happened when I first started dealing. I've been a table games dealer, supervisor, started in Iowa and then went all the way to Las Vegas and kind of worked up and down the strip there. And I, got to see a lot. And so when I ended up getting in front of a very well-known table games designer, Roger Snow, he's the inventor for one of the very popular Ultimate Texas Hold'em games. Like, he does a lot of poker games and stuff. When I got in front of him, he hired me on into this position, and he asked me in the interview, like, what we do here is we create games, and if you have any ideas. And at the time, I was kind of having these thoughts of, like, how to get people to, bet on a card and they can do stuff. So I was trying to articulate this game idea that I had, and this was during our interview that I had with him. And I remember he, like, looked up in the air, and he's like, "Yeah, no, that's not going to work." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." But it's funny because what that did was when he said, like, "Hey, yeah, we create games here," then it started kind of pushing me into designing something. And so what happened was I started working on this concept, and I remember that time when that guy doubled that blackjack. And so I was thinking, like, why did he do that? Like, it was 11.
I know how you came with the name, because that was madness. Doubling down on that was madness. Double Down Madness. I got it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so, like, when I realized that he was treating it like an 11 with his 2 cards, I thought, like, well, an ace is an 11. A 7 and a 3 is 10. So a face card is 10. So then I started to kind of have this process going on in my mind when I was developing it. And then I was getting ready to go to sleep. And there's something about being, like, at that calm state of mind when you're getting ready to retire for the night, right?
Right.
And when I fell into dream state, I think, like, having that thought in my mind, I started to see, like, a procedure come out. And I remember I woke up at, like, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got up and started to deal it on my coffee table with this one card going out and then being able to double and all this stuff. And it was working. It was making sense. And so I had to do it because I didn't want to forget it. And then when I woke up, I went to the office and started dealing it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is starting to make sense. And then so that was, like, the starting of Double Down Madness. And that process was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Well, it's funny because
so many hurdles.
I know from our previous conversations, first of all, we're both from small towns in either Illinois or Iowa.
Yep.
And you and I talked about Casey's Pizza earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're from the Midwest, you know Casey's Pizza. Each little town has a Casey's Pizza. Vika has no idea what I'm talking about right now. He's heard me say it before because we've talked about it on live streams. When the people in the Midwest get in there talking about pizza, Casey's comes up all the time. But the other thing that we have in common is we're both musicians.
Yeah.
When you started talking about that, I've woke up in the middle of the night before to sit and write songs. Because when that creativity comes to you in a creative mind, you have to stop everything you're doing, even if it's sleeping, and get to work.
Well, here, let me ask a question. How many times where you have a good idea and you forget to record it, or you forget to write it down, and then you're like, oh, I'll remember this because it's so good, and then you forget, right? Like, all the time.
I tell you, I've got a phone on me right now. If I would have had this back in the day, oh my God, 'cause I'm 53, so if you would have had something like this, all the smart people would have had a little recorder on them, and they would record it. I've forgotten way more than I've ever recorded.
I used to have a little tape recorder that, you just get like at Walmart, something like that. And I would carry that around when I was in a band. And just like if I had like, I don't know, it's like a certain riff that I really wanted, I would use that as my template to not forget anything.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Everything that I do today goes back to everything musical. I'm still a musician today. I still play in an 80s tribute band called the Breakfast Club. I sing, I play drums. It keeps me young or younger. And it's just like between playing in the band and playing music and having a 6-year-old at home, it keeps me young. People are like, you're 53? I'm like, yes, I'm 53. But I don't act like it. I act like I'm Vika's age, for God's sake. Well, maybe not that young. He's way young. But it's like getting out of bed to write down or to do something because it struck you and you're like, let's go. I need to do this right now before I forget it. So let's go back to the music for a second.
Yeah.
What'd you play?
So when I was in a band, so this was in high school, we were called I'm Prettier Than You. This was like during YouTube, like right when it was starting to kind of come out, and Facebook. So I don't know if there's even music still out there anymore. I'm sure you probably could find some stuff on YouTube. So I played the bass guitar. So when I first started, I had a high school friend that taught me guitar. I remember when I first met him, he had an acoustic guitar and he was playing it, and I was very, infatuated with how he could make that thing make music, And so I wanted to learn it, and he kind of showed me the basics, and then I did a lot of self-teaching. Like to be a good musician, it's literally you just have to shut yourself in a room for hours on hours.
Thousands of hours.
And just play. And there was a lot of times like where I stopped playing and I just feel like the worst musician ever, But those days, like when you keep coming back, all of a sudden it starts to make noise. And
well, the difference, unless you're some kind of savant, the difference between really good musicians and really good artists and the ones who aren't are the people who don't stop. They keep coming back again and again. So I literally have sat there at my drum set before and just pounded my fist into the snare drum, like, ah! But then you calm down, you come back and you learn it. And, once you figure something out, it's the most satisfying thing ever. It's all math. You just sit there as a drummer.
Patterns.
I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
Patterns, math, and it's just like that sacred geometry of figuring something out and the satisfaction you get. It's the same.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, that being in a band, those were some of my best times I've ever had with those guys. And it was just, when you come together, like you're a drummer, right? You're the backbone of the whole band. Do you play with a tick in your ear?
I do now. We actually play, we don't have a bass player in our band right now. We've had a couple different ones, and I'm like, they just didn't work out for whatever reason. And I'm like, you know what? Our keyboard player, who is kind of like the musical director, we have 2 keyboard outs stereo and 2 bass outs stereo. Myself and the other drummer, because I sing half the time and play drums half the time, and the other drummer switches off. I do all the lower rock stuff. He does all the higher, like Michael Jackson, Prince, things like that, and I play drums on that. And then we have a female singer as well. But he and I have to play to a click track while we're playing, and it becomes second nature now. A lot of people can't play to click tracks.
I remember when our drummer was playing. It was challenging at first because it's really loud, and then he has this thing just beating in his headphones, and
you got tick tick tick
and,
tick.
And then as time progresses, like that actually made our sound very solid, very clean, and it's funny because when you're on stage playing, you're just focused on your instrument. You're not hearing the whole band like that's being projected out. So I'm sure you film a lot of your shows and you hear what it sounds like, and you're like, whoa, that sounds completely different than what it was when you were playing it live.
Well, we also play in our band with like a video that goes the whole time. So like
you have like a backdrop.
Yeah, the backdrop.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And it's like the actual video from MTV is playing while we're playing, and then the cameras switch off from place to place to see all the different people in the band.
You have like a music video playing?
Yeah.
With it?
So
that's cool.
It's completely perfectly synced. Like when we're playing a Madonna song, Madonna is behind us doing on the MTV video from back in the day.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then we have dancers and everything. It's really a cool show. We do a lot at different casinos and different corporate events and things like that.
Yeah, I was about to ask, do you guys travel at all? Like, what's your...
A little bit. It's like we've been offered to come to Vegas before, but it's just like we're all so busy with our day jobs and kids and families and stuff like that it's like we're playing July the 1st. We're down in the Bay Area for a festival for a city where it's like there's going to be 10,000 people there.
Oh, sweet.
I'm like, hell yeah. I don't care what you pay me. I'm coming.
Yeah.
And then we're playing here at the Pepper Mill for Hot August Nights. We play 6 nights in a row here at the Pepper Mill. It's like, I don't know, it's second week in August or something like that. But it's just such a great outlet. Even at 53 years old, my wife's always like, when are you going to give up that music thing? I'm like, when I die.
Absolutely, man.
There's nothing better.
It's so it sounds like you're doing it for a hobby, right? Like it's not really like a
a
career.
I've talked about it before, and it's like I had the dream when I was younger, when I was Vika's age, little kid.
Hey, how old are you?
24.
24. Okay, all right.
When I was 24, I was an absolute idiot. Might still be a little bit, but if my dream of being a rock star would have came true, I would have killed myself. So I was that person, So I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've got about 11 years sober, and if that would have came true, God works in mysterious ways, gives us what we need, not what we want. And I wanted to be a rock star so bad, but I still get to do that today at 53. Every once in a while, go out and entertain people. Doesn't have to be 1 million people, but go out and just see smiles on faces. Yeah, that's what I'm in it for.
I completely agree with you. It's making me think of times when I was back in my band, and we were getting to the point where we were starting to kind of tour a little bit, and we were just we all went to the same high school.
Were you guys an original band then?
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me that. Yeah. So our band was interesting because we had inspirations from a lot of like punk rock bands and stuff like that. We were a punk rock style, and we had. At the time, it was like screamo was starting to kind of like be a thing, and and a lot of punk rock. But we would take a lot of inspiration. Alternative was also really hot at the time, and so we would take that, and then we would actually start to write our own. So we were working outside the box, and also thinking outside the box, and all of us had different creative sounds, and we could intertwine that together. And it was a cool thought process because I would have like a riff that I would create, and then I'd bring it to the team, and then they would kind of like play with it, and then they would find like their own pattern or their own style, and then we just bring it all together, and then to hear it all build from the start up is awesome, and then we can play it for people, for them to enjoy. And so we were getting to that point where we were starting to kind of travel. We small town. I'm originally from Iowa Falls, Iowa. So shout out to anybody from there that listens to this.
What's the population of Iowa Falls? Let's use from a smaller town.
Yeah. So at the time it was around 5,000 people.
Oh, that's a metropolis compared to me. 1,500 people in Mount Carroll, Illinois.
How many people did you graduate from there?
36 people.
36. Yeah, I graduated with 99 kids.
Yeah, metropolis, bro. I would have went to your town to party.
Yeah. Oh man, it's farm town, man. Yeah. So we started with performing for our friends and family. And then as time went on, we had this bigger dream of going to the city. And the big city that we had was Des Moines, Iowa. Have you ever been to Des Moines?
Oh yeah, we used to play in Des Moines. We played in Waterloo. We played in Clinton was the closest one, the Quad Cities, and then we'd go up into Minnesota. Rockford was as far as we went into Illinois. We never went into Chicago, but you know, we were big fish in a small pond, so to speak.
Wow. So you did better than we did. Des Moines, Iowa. We were when we saw that, it's 3 big buildings, you know. And then when it's funny because when you look at like places like Chicago or like Michigan, something like
Chicago was too big for my brain to handle back
Yeah.
then. I'm like, oh my God, if we go to Chicago, just Smashing Pumpkins, I can't go there.
So it was humble beginnings for sure. I mean, you know, when we were doing all that and like just kind of seeing our growth go, like we entered into a contest and we were actually the #1 unsigned band at the time, and we were in like a magazine, and we got free recording out of one of the studios there, and it was just really cool. We got to open up for some pretty like well-known bands for that genre.
Who'd you open up for?
Red Jumpsuit Apparatus was one. Red, the Ready Set. Do you know any of these?
I remember the names.
Yeah. So they're big for that area, you
Yeah.
know, but and for us too. And I mean, I think the largest group that we played for was 1,100 people, and that experience is, you know, it's amazing because when I remember one time when I was on stage and I was looking at the guys that I, you know, kind of like we started from the beginning to where we were at, and like I remember I was on stage looking, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like we were in a garage band just practicing, and then now here we are playing in front of 1,100 people, and you know, and I don't know if you get this feeling, but I remember like right before the show, I would always just be so anxious and just so nervous.
To this day, I'm 53 years old, and I am still just like pacing around.
Yeah.
It's like I can't wait. It's like a prize fighter. I can't wait to get up there and do it.
Yeah, and you know, just like that's the same way. Like when we did the El Cortez thing with the tournament, like when I had to give that speech, same thing. I was just so nervous, and then it's just like that intuition of when I used to perform. It's just I know what it is. Even just coming on the show too, like you get a little anxious, and it's just I want to be there. It's like once you're there, like on stage doing it, then it's fine. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's the anticipation. I think.
Same thing for us now. My wife Carisa and I are influencers.
Yeah.
And we went to when I met you down there, and Adam just has an amazing operation. El Cortez is amazing. And then Kenny, who owns it, just a great group of people. And then you walk around, and it's like, there's Bluff, there's Lady Luck, there's Vegas Matt. It's just like, it's such a cool environment. Just like the Peppermill here, you know, take care of everybody. And then you walk in, and it's like all of a sudden we get recognized. And I'm like,
you guys are celebrities.
What the hell is going on here? Well, so we were coming, we were going home on Sunday night. We lived down in South Reno. And we stopped at a little place called the Tamarack. And we're in there, and all of a sudden these people come and go, it's the mayor. Yeah. It's Carisa. I'm like, hey, how are you guys? They were from North Dakota, came into Reno. They went up to see Tahoe. They were coming back, and they saw the Tamarack and knew that we played there every once in a while, because most of the time we play at the Peppermill. We stopped off there on our way home from here, and they're like, we just stopped here to see if we could meet you. And I'm like, it blew my mind, just the same way as bands did. So
nice.
The segue is now we do live streams. We do these videos, and we get to meet people. When I'm on the live streams, it's like being at a rock show. You're talking, you're interacting with people, you're entertaining people, and it's a different format, of course, but we're sitting there playing games. We're playing table games. We're playing slot machines. We're doing all these different things. Why? Because we already were in the first place, but now it's to entertain people. There's a bigger purpose behind it now, and it's the same thing as being on stage in a band. It's to entertain these people who are hanging out. We'll have the highest we've ever got up to, I think, like 6,000 people on a live stream at one time. Oh, wow. And it blows my mind. I'm like, 6,000 people? It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but we're sitting there entertaining people, which, as far as I'm concerned, aside from being a father and a husband, it's like that was my purpose in life, was to entertain people and put a smile on people's faces.
Yeah.
All from music. It started there, and it's taken me everywhere I've gone so far.
Yeah, I can relate for sure. I mean, I think the music, having that creative mindset from music and understanding, like, it's really difficult. It's really hard. That it has influenced at least my path for sure with coming into what I'm doing now as a table games designer. There's a lot of that. I think patience is the biggest one. And also just you got to be humble with all this as well, because feedback is good. It's a lot of people don't like getting that, that critical feedback because it kind of like hurts them, right? Especially like it's your art, right? It's your, people call it, like, it's funny. People come up to me for Double Down Madness, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's your baby," and I stop and I think about it and I correct them and I say, "No, it's not my baby. It's my art. I created this for other people to enjoy." Because exactly what you're saying, like how you want to put a smile on people's face, you want to get them excited and entertained. Like, it's my art for people to enjoy this. It's not made for everybody. Right, like I know some
Either
people,
is music.
Yeah.
So people enjoy all kinds of different music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very eclectic. There's all kinds of stuff that I love. There's also stuff that I can't stand. Vika right there.
Yeah.
Musician. He's got a song called On Tan. Love it.
Nice.
I'm also a big Tool fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I go to yacht rock too. I mean, I love
I love
everything.
that playlist.
Yeah, it's
great,
awesome.
Great playlist.
But there's other stuff I don't listen to. Same thing. There's games I love. There's games I won't touch. And there's all kinds of different games for different people.
Right. And that's exactly like where it comes down to is it's art. Like, I know like some people aren't gonna like Double Down Madness because it's maybe too much at once for somebody who's maybe new to learning blackjack. Maybe, you don't start with it, right? You kind of take baby steps to it. And if you don't like it, that's totally fine. You don't have to tell me like, hey, this is a bad game. Like, no, it's fine. Like, hey, this is made for those people who do enjoy it,
Yeah.
And like the work that goes behind it, it's like, that's, I think, where it needs, like, where I think like people need to remember too, is like that this stuff isn't simple. Like, even though how simple the game is, that's really hard to get it to play that way. And like that took a lot of feedback, a lot of criticism, a lot of no.
Yeah.
And then for me, I had to come back and also.
Well, the first no was from your interview.
Yeah.
So
yeah, shout out Roger.
Roger, you son of a gun. But a lot of people would have stopped right there.
Yeah. No. And
some people will actually walk out of the interview going, "I don't even have this job. I'm not going to take this job. I don't like it." Mm-hmm. But it's going back again and again and going, you know what, I believe in this thing. I've got the passion for it. I'm going to do it, just like music. Mm-hmm. Give up, walk away, put the guitar down, put the drumsticks down, walk away. I'm not going to do it. It's too hard. Or keep going, strive. Now you got Double Down Madness.
Yep.
Now, I've got a great idea.
Okay.
Listen, this one's going to be big. You can take it.
Okay, all right. Let's hear it.
It's called Duck, Duck, Blackjack. This is going to be great. Vika, you're going to love this one. Now, what happens is everybody sits down at a table. If you get a blackjack, you run around the table touching everybody on the head, and then you get everybody's money. Good. You got it.
I love it.
No, this would be a great one.
Duck, duck, blackjack.
Duck,
Next
duck,
one.
blackjack. Now, I got a serious question for you now.
Okay.
I say serious because it's not very serious.
All
But
right.
Light and Wonder makes some great games. How hard was it for Light and Wonder not to name your game Huff and even more Blackjack?
Good question.
See?
You know?
There's so many Huff and Puffs
Yeah,
out there.
there's a lot of versions. It's a great question. Yeah, I'll have to bring that back to the team and see what we can do with that.
I haven't had a
Huff and
chance
even-
to. I haven't had a chance to play the new Huff and Puff that has like the diamond mansion thing on it. I want to play that so bad, but I don't think it's anywhere in Reno. Is it, Vika?
I don't think so.
No, I want to play that so bad.
Well, come into a casino near you.
Well, I'm going to Vegas tomorrow, so
Oh,
we're probably going
perfect,
to
yeah.
play it.
I'm sure they probably have it in the showroom too if you're coming through, man. Maybe I can have you come stop through and you can test it out and see what you think.
I think that sounds good because it cost me zero money. So I've been in the showroom before. You and I have met before down there with something else I'm working on. But all the new games that are coming out, the new systems and everything. I mean, Light & Wonder's got so many different things going on. Do you have any new games that you're working on right now?
Yeah. So Double Down Madness is doing its thing, and then the next game that is coming out, we are starting to tease it a little bit. It's called Double Hook Poker. What's interesting with this game is it kind of reminds me a lot of video poker. So that's where I got my inspiration from, is that this game, the players dealt 3 cards, and then they have 2 chances to make a 5-card poker hand. The pay table is very simple. So what I did was I took a lot of the classic games like Mississippi Stud, UTH, 3-card poker, and kind of merged them all into one game where it's not reteaching the players. It's kind of like take what we have and kind of modify it into some modernized game where players aren't having to relearn a lot of the game procedures, because there's 3 elements to this stuff. You have to make sure that the dealers can deal the game. That's number 1. Number 2 is the players have to be able to understand the game within 30 seconds to a minute. Okay?
Exactly.
So you got to make it very, very easy. So that's where a lot of this stuff, where I'm taking elements that people already know and just kind of massaging it to a different format, but they still kind of understand the betting structure and what they can bet and stuff. And then the last thing is fair. You got to make it fair, because if you have a house edge that's crazy, like 8%, something along those lines as a base game, players are going to find out real quick that it can't win, right? But on the other end of it is, the casinos are in business, for they're a service, right? So you have to make it fair for them as well, so that way they still have the edge. But the question is how do you find that flexible ground? So this is stuff, as being a table games designer, we have to think of, and we have to go through a lot of different iterations of games that we come out with. Is we got to find the nice number where players, they can hang out and actually get the game and have a chance, right? But also at the end of it, that it's still favorable to the casino, because, it's pretty obvious that if casinos were losing, there wouldn't be any, right?
Well, I've got multiple different businesses, and I look for a margin in each one of them that I need to make to keep people employed.
Yes.
Keep my wife happy.
Yes. Yeah.
All those things, you have to look into that. And people understand that. They just don't want to be taken advantage of, because they also want to hang out.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They've got money budgeted.
Excitement. It's all about I love coming to the table and watching people have a lot of fun, and just that thrill of being on a table game. Like table games, I'm a little biased to it. It's the best job in the entire world. As a table games dealer, former dealer, you get to play games all night long, and you get paid really good money. You get to meet people from all over. I started in a small casino, and you got to get to know the regulars from. I worked in Waterloo at the Isle Casino there.
Yeah.
And it was awesome opportunity. They taught me how to deal cards. I went to dealer school. And it was funny because when I first started there, I used to play cards growing up with my great-grandma Beulah and Grandma
What game
Connie.
did you play?
So we played Boo-Ray. Have you ever heard of that
The
game?
hell's Boo-Ray?
It's kind of like
Is it like Blu-ray?
No, it's not. It's not. Is that even a thing? No,
Not anymore.
Yeah. So Boo-Ray is it's like euchre. Did you ever play euchre?
I played euchre all the time.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
just a
from here
different
knows
form.
what euchre is.
Really?
Yeah, if you're on the West Coast, no idea. Midwest, euchre tournaments all the time.
All the time. Bridge, like those games. And so I would grow up playing a lot of those games with my grandmas. And I don't know if you've ever heard of golf. That's another fun game.
Yep.
Old Maid, just a lot of these easy card games.
Crazy Eights.
Crazy Eights, yes. I wasn't a fan of that one. Yeah,
I wasn't a big fan, but I played it all
Kings
the time.
in the Corner.
Oh yeah, Kings in the
Corner.
Corner.
You ever play that one?
Oh yeah.
Dude, gosh, man, this is bringing me back. But yeah, so I grew up playing cards, and when I went into dealer school, I thought I was going to be able to pick up on it real quick, but there's a lot that goes into dealing cards. There's game protection. There is chips, like how they handle the chips. There's card placement. There's There's alerts. So sometimes if you're at the table, you might hear the dealer saying like changing 100 or hey, checks played. Like, you know, that's indicating to the floor like, hey, we have a bettor that's betting large amounts. Like, hey, just to let you know. You know, it's kind of like a courtesy call. And then there might be like certain approvals, like if somebody comes in with a very big check or chip, you know, is like, you know, like check change 5,000. And then you'll have to get approval because it's a large amount. You know, that's up to the casino to make those calls, those procedures. So there's a lot that went into it. And it was probably the best schooling I've ever went to because, you know, you're learning all of these procedures and stuff, and it's a lot at first. But as you slowly understand it, then it becomes awesome because now you're constantly doing. And one thing, it's funny, you might see the dealers like clearing their hands, and that's a cue that they taught me. Like even till this day, like I'll still clear my hands if I ever touch like a chip or a card. Like it's just natural. And so if you see them doing that,
and
it's
that's
because
to show the cameras, right?
Correct, yeah. Because like if you ever watch like a dealer come into a table, like they'll like clap their hands or they just show it. It's just to indicate as, hey, I'm coming in with nothing in my hands, and then
I thought it was jazz hands.
Yeah, yeah. So just some things like, you know, if people are watching, if they're just like, why do the dealers? Well, that's because, you know, that's some of the things that they're taught in the school. But back to where I was going with this is that, you know, learning how to do all this stuff, like it's the best job in the world because they work with your schedule. If you're trying to like find like a part-time, I went to school and would work as a table games dealer on the side. And, you know, I didn't think I was going to end up in this industry. But then as time progressed, I ended up meeting a lot of people in the industry. And I had a buddy that introduced me to one of his friends in Vegas. So I went out to Las Vegas as for a spring break, something along those lines. And he's like, hey, go meet with my friend. And so I went and met with him, and I didn't realize what his position was. And he was the table games VP for New York, and now he moved over to MGM New York, and Excalibur. And when I met with him, we were talking, and it's funny, him and I both had a very similar background where we were both studying the same thing in school, both from the Midwest. And I told him I was a table games dealer as well, and wasn't even like asking for anything. And he comes up and he said, hey, well, we are hiring right now for a dealer. Would you be interested in that? And it was crazy because I sat there and stopped, and I was like, oh, wow, like this is a door that just opened up. Like, what do I do, you know? And so I said, well, listen, the short answer is yes, but the long answer is I have about 3 months left of school, and I would really like to get my degree. So that's the long answer. And he said, okay, listen, I'll make you a deal. Go back, think about it, and then you have my number, call me, and we'll figure something out if you do move forward with this. And so as I walked out of that interview, it was an instant like, yes, this is a huge opportunity. This door's opening up, and I need to walk through it. So I went back, finished my my college degree, got it, and then a week later I traveled out to Las Vegas, and my parents and we both filled up their car and my car and drove out to Vegas, and it was a culture shock. So small town Iowa, 5,000 people.
That was going to be my next question.
Okay, yeah.
You go from small town Iowa to Las Vegas, just the same way. Like I remember when I moved from Mount Carroll to outside of St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm like, oh my God, what's that like for you?
Yeah. So the culture shock was, you know, in Iowa, you go from Casey's closing at 10 o'clock at night,
which is a heartbreaker. I'm still hungry for some pizza.
Yeah, right.
Savannah, Illinois, 24 hours, baby.
Wow.
Winner.
Shout out shout out to them. So you go from like something like that, you know, where people kind of wind down around like 5 o'clock at night, you know, not really like much going on, to 10 o'clock at night in Vegas is like the lunchtime. You know, like things are just kind of starting up, and things open 24 hours. The nightlife, you go from a lot of crazy stuff where what I really like about Vegas is that whatever you want, for the most part, if you want to go to a show, if you want to go to a nice dinner, if you want to go snowboarding, you know, like you got all that stuff within like a 5-10 mile radius. If you want to go hiking, get the Red Rocks. Even if you want to go to the ocean, you know, it's only like a 4.5-5 hour drive, and just the location of it it's great. And maybe it's because, you know, coming from a small town, none of that stuff really existed. Like if we wanted to go shopping, we would have to go 45 minutes to the mall in Waterloo, Cedar Falls,
Right.
and go and get stuff and then come back. We were lucky that we had a Walmart there. So that's what the culture shock was. And so coming from that to this, you know, it's, you know, you like, it's funny because there's like, you know, a lot of the street performers, like the people that dress up in Mario costumes and stuff, you know, like there's a lot of crazy things that happen there. And then when I was working on the strip as well, you know, I got to meet a lot of interesting people from around the world. There's a bunch of diversity. And, you know, when I worked in back in Waterloo, you know, you get your regulars, like I said before, but in Vegas, you know, you get to meet people from all around the world, and you never know who you're going to meet. One thing that I've learned is that one day you're gonna be at the table, and then you might meet a celebrity. You know, like you might have somebody come up that, you know, was in a movie that you watch on Netflix or something.
The mayor? You talking
The
about
mayor? Yeah, like I'm with the
that
celebrity right now
that
here.
That'd be
Yeah.
a big deal for you.
Man, you know, I was nervous when I came in here for this. You know, got to get an autograph.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
you.
it's big.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, like that's what's really cool about it, and you know, and this industry too, working in casino is very small too. Like, you know, a lot of it, we're all connected.
Very incestuous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great. Like I love it, and you know, and I'm glad to see like these your influencing stuff is, you know, starting to really take off. And it sounds like when you first started, it just blew up out of nowhere. Like
we created Casino Carisa, that channel, to create content for this app I'm creating called Cha-Ching.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking with my CTO from that company. I'm like, all right, we'll do this. We'll get these videos. We'll create the YouTube channel. We'll do all that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, we got into it. I'm like, oh, this is so fun. And my wife loves to gamble anyway. So it was very natural for us. And then I'm the entertainer, so I'm the voice of everything. And her and I sit there and we play back and forth. We got Vika, we got Daniel-san, and we just sit there and have a good time. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden we started doing live streams, and it just blew up like crazy. I'm like, well, I guess I got another job now, you know, but I love that job, you know, and it's so much fun. It's very volatile. There's no doubt about it. It's so expensive. But there's an end game in sight for Cha-Ching, for the YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. But Cha-Ching is going to be the end result. Mm-hmm. And when we roll that out, it's going to be life-changing, I think, because it's going to be an industry changer, you know, and it's going to be something we're going to be working with Light and Wonder. We're working with all these different companies, all these different operators, casino operators. I didn't see myself getting into this. Mm-hmm. Mount Carroll, Illinois, 1,500 people. We had a Dairy Queen. We had churches and bars.
Nice.
No stoplight in town, just a flashing red light, but the four-way stop outside of town. That was it. You know, and it's like, to be here talking to you today, mm-hmm. It's just because of the same things you were talking about. It's taking advantage of doors that are wide open. You just have to walk through the door.
That's the hardest part.
It is.
Being able to walk through it. You know, taking a chance, you know, for anybody that's listening, you know, like if I was to give a piece of advice, I'd say that when opportunity comes to you, don't be afraid, because a lot of people will come to you with a door open, and it's like 40% of it, maybe 60% that they do. Now you have to do the 40%, and don't be afraid. It's scary, but how do you know like what the result's going to be if you don't try?
Well, that's the scarier situation, is to
moving to Las Vegas. I didn't know anybody moving there. And coming from a small town of 5,000 people, moving there knowing nobody, that's a big risk. You know, my parents were not excited about me moving there.
I bet.
They were not. But you know, I love my parents. They supported me throughout my whole like career. Like even when I was in a band, you know, they supported that. And even though, you know, like my dad kept telling me it's a hobby, but I saw it as a career. I wanted to make it into a career. And,
Sure.
And then as I think he saw like that we were starting to grow and like getting a lot of people, like I think he kind of saw like, oh wow, like you might have a chance with this thing. And, then things didn't work out with the band, and then, moved on. And it's just kind of like, it's that one foot in front of the other mentality. If you build something and if it comes crashing down, you don't give up. You just keep going. You find something else that, keeps that momentum, right? Like you keep it fresh. Don't be afraid for change. Like you got to be able to pivot to different avenues, because if you stay stagnant and keep doing it, it's just going to be repetitive and there's no growth.
It's so damn boring.
Yeah.
I just to go out and do something fresh and brand new. It's so creative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've really found out about creating Cha-Ching, creating this channel, creating this podcast we're on right now. It's creative. It's fun. I get to meet really cool people. I get to hang out with Vika half of my life. Him and I just hanging out all the time. That's the only downside. Just me and Vika hanging out all the time. just kidding. I love that kid. And I tell you, for anybody who's listening right now, just keep moving, keep doing it. Be positive. That's the one thing that I've found. 95% of the people on our YouTube channel, on Instagram, on TikTok, all positive people. It's that 5% of negative people. I wish I had their address, as big as I am, just to walk up to their door.
I like them.
Well, no, it's not me. Yeah. I got thick skin.
Yeah.
I can take it. When somebody says something about my wife, swear to God, I want to come through that phone and just choke somebody out.
Yeah.
But it's funny too, because it doesn't bother me at all. It bothers her.
Yeah, that's
and
too bad.
That's what kills me. And it's society's fault for putting so much pressure on women, because I don't see it bothering too many men, but the women are bothered by these things, and it's these asses sitting behind typing something hurtful to somebody else. If somebody does to my 6-year-old someday, I swear to God, it's going down. But the 95%,
pretty positive. Yeah,
it is so positive, and it's so awesome to see these people coming behind. People are coming up to Vika, Daniel San, going, "You're Vika."
Nah,
it's awesome. I love it. It's just like, these are my kids, even though they're not my kids.
Yeah.
But it's just like, to see that happen is so fulfilling and so rewarding. Yeah. It has to be the same thing for you with your games.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's funny. Maybe just because when I was in a band, we did get a lot of negative feedback. People are like, "Oh, you're never gonna make blah 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 blah," and there was a moment where like it would bother, like us, and we would come back and be like, what are they talking about? They don't know. They don't get it. And then there's one day where we're just like, you know what? Let's write a song about this. And we did. And then it was like, hey, that's cool. Like we made something out of negativity.
Right.
And we made it positive, right? And then like I feel like I thrive off of it a little bit, because if somebody says, no, you're not going to make it, it motivates me to be like, hey, well, let me show you.
Yep.
I'm not afraid. I've had some really good mentors in my life that have have toughened me up, like, thick skin. Also being in the industry as well, when you're around a lot, like the public, as a table games dealer, you get yelled at, you get cigarette smoke in your face, you get, people, you can never bust, like why are you always winning, and you just get the, people like that. And, you learn to kind of
Vika,
adapt to
I
it.
might have played at his table, because I might have yelled about something when I lost.
Your table games dealer?
No.
Oh, no?
I'm just saying that I might have been at your table. I've got kind of a little hot temper sometimes when I'm playing cards and stuff. It's not good. My wife's like, "Why don't you settle? Why do you even play these games? You're gonna get mad all the time." I'm like, "Well, the math doesn't make any sense. He just won 7 hands in a row."
Yeah. Well, my advice, and also like people are listening, like, come on, everybody knows it's not the dealer's fault, right? Like we know it's just math. Like
I'm actually really respectful about it. I see some people, I hear some people, I'm like, oh my gosh, swearing at somebody. I'm like, that's their job.
Yeah.
They shuffled the cards. You cut them. No. You cut them. Somebody cut them. It is not their fault. But I love everything about this industry we're in.
Yeah.
It's just meeting really cool people like yourself.
Thanks.
And getting to talk. Like
Likewise.
when you and I talked down at El Cortez, I'm like, you said you're from a small town in Iowa. I'm like, I'm from a small town in Illinois. And then all of a sudden, now meeting with Light and Wonder for Cha-Ching, and like, for everybody listening, open your mouth, reach out, shake somebody's hand, talk to them, get to know them. There's a door open. You just have to walk through it.
Just got to walk through it. Can't be afraid.
Yeah. So what questions do I have for you after this? I think we've talked about Casey's Pizza. We've talked about small town Midwest, which I love. How often do you get back?
Yeah. So honestly, not much really anymore. My parents, they resided in Arizona now, so they're much closer to Vegas. So it's about like 5 hours that they're away from. So really not much. I did go back when we did do the first install for Double Down Madness. It was really cool because the first property that I ever worked at, the Isle Casino in Waterloo, they went first with it in the world, which is really, really cool. And my girlfriend got to go with me, and it was a very surreal moment because, like the starting point, the starting line in my career, and the place that took a chance with me and also kind of mentored me and, gave me one of my really good buddies there. He's the GM now. He's mentored me and gave me a lot of advice throughout this. It's kind of like he gives me the advice and I have to either take what I want with it or not, and that's what's really cool with him. And for them to take a chance with the game, it was really cool, really, really cool moment. And so, but to get back to Iowa, honestly, not much. Like, I mean, it's just a lot of my friends, my close friends, they moved on to like Chicago area. They're out in Vegas.
Well, it's a tough part about the small town Midwest is that, a lot of people have moved out because there's not as much opportunity these days as there used to be. It used to be factories, farm work, all these different things. And it's tougher for people to stay there. I've got a couple friends that stuck around there. Were successful doing it. But I get back maybe once a year. Now my mom still lives back there, but like this year we've got my cousin's kids getting married out in Wyoming. My mom's going to travel out there, so I'll see her there. But
good.
I'm getting ordained. I'm going to be the minister for that wedding, dude. Yeah, so if you need anything blessed,
guy,
I'm the guy. Vika. Yeah, well, I'll bless whatever you need, bro. So it's gonna be great.
I have a buddy who did that with my really good friend. We're all good friends, and same thing. He got ordained, and he actually did that for their wedding. It was awesome.
I'm gonna take full advantage of him. I'm gonna get a robe, all kinds of stuff, praise flowing. So I'm gonna be a mayor and some kind of preacher. I don't know. We should start a nonprofit, Vika. It'd be great. So awesome. Well, this has been an awesome podcast.
Yeah,
I appreciate
man.
My second guest ever. First one ever in the brand new podcast room here at the Pepper Mill.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Really,
so
really nice.
I talked to him about it, and I said, listen, I'd really like to do a podcast and talk to people in the gaming industry and other influencers and stuff. They said, that sounds like a great idea. We'll build you a room.
Wow.
I said, my God, that's great. The power of the mayor. NG says he's powerful. Watch out. Here comes the mayor.
Dude, I love it, man. It's awesome.
So I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. I can't wait to play Double Down Madness again. And hope, is it in Reno yet? Anywhere?
Not yet. I think it's soon to be. So as soon as I find out, I'll let you know. But I know it's going to be coming to a casino near you.
Awesome. Well, best of luck and everything. You and I will stay in touch. And maybe here in a couple of years, we'll get you back on the podcast and we'll see where life's taking you.
Love it, man. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Guys, everybody, thanks so much for watching All In with the Mayor. Really want to thank everybody for watching today and thank my special guest, Mr. Matt Booth from Light and Wonder. Everybody, we'll see you soon. Mayor, I'm out.